Incidentally, have you thought about what you do with your prize? Shall you hang your swords over the mantle and take to pruning vines?
Don't really know yet. Might find the life of a hard-working vintner too tempting one day. Or maybe I'll just stick to the path, go on roaming, staring up at the stars after laying my bedroll at the roadside.
Toussaint looks perfect. Bright skies, golden vineyards, in nights that look straight out of a fairy tale. But this paradise has a price. And the deeper you go into this colorful, glowing world, the darker it gets. I very recently finished my Witcher 3 journey. I'm a little bit late to the party, but I am very glad that I got to it and actually played this game all the way through. I started the game in 2025 and finished Blood and Wine in 2026. The base game of Witcher 3 blew me away and almost had me nervous moving on to the DLCs because I kept thinking, how could this possibly get any better and be topped? I went on to play Hearts of Stone and I absolutely loved it. The characters, villains, story, and the atmosphere especially. I didn't want to move on to Blood and Wine right away because I knew that was the last part of Witcher 3 I had to play through. And then that was it. Months went by and I decided to finally do it. While playing Blood and Wine, I kept asking myself, what makes this DLC so damn special?
To me, place always seemed straight out of a fairy tale. Knights errant, elven palaces.
You insinuate that we are somehow odd?
Toussaint is the kind of place you'd swear doesn't exist. And maybe it doesn't in real life. But in the dark world of Witcher 3, 150 hours into the game, we're used to thunderstorms, the cloudy skies of Skellige, and the creepy expansion area of Hearts of Stone. But then you start Blood and Wine. Right away, you know this is different. Sun-covered vineyards, castles, and streets alive with music and laughter in the city. On the surface, it's a paradise. But deep down, I feel like we were all thinking the same thing. What's really going on in this place? Beneath the beautiful area of Toussaint, the cracks start to reveal themselves. Corruption, grudges, and horrific violence hide behind festivals and bright colors. Geralt is no stranger to these things, and he can see what others ignore. The rot that is hiding beneath perfection. In Toussaint, the fantasy seems scenic, almost like it's shielding something darker inside. Of all the places in Witcher 3, Toussaint feels intoxicating, unlike anywhere else. Sure, we saw the alive but dirty streets of Novigrad and the rolling, beautiful sunsets of White Orchard, but Toussaint feels like a paradise, even if it's just for a moment. But let's face it, if it was truly a perfect paradise for you, me, and Geralt, we probably would get bored pretty quickly.
No. I intend to live happily ever after.
At the heart of the Blood and Wine story is Detlaff. He's a terrifying vampire, but not in the way you would expect. I mean, he commits brutal acts of violence, but his rage doesn't come from cruelty, but more from betrayal and manipulation. His violent acts feel like almost a punishment for himself and for the people who used him. I, for one, really didn't see this until the end. I struggled to kind of see both sides of Detlaff's story and reasoning. and I still go back and forth to this day, as I'm sure a lot of players do. Detlaff did kill, but was he just merely being used as a tool? Does that justify the deaths, and does he deserve a punishment for that? Well, that's the big question. Detlaff, I think, is a tragic character, because he makes us kind of think who is really the monster in the Blood and Wine story, and who is simply a victim of something much larger at play. It's a complex problem with no clean, simple solution. And this isn't just another Hunt the Vampire tale.
Oriana? Release him. Now.
I would really regret not talking about one of the most disturbing sequences in all of gaming, the Oriana questline. For those of you who played Blood and Wine, you probably immediately know what I'm referring to. Witcher 3 so often feels like you're in control. You can make decisions as Geralt of villagers, contracts, main characters, and who Geralt spends the rest of his days with. But this isn't that. Oriana contradicts everything we've learned in the Witcher world. At first, she seems harmless and caring. She smiles often, and you'd think she's just another misunderstood character in this ever-changing world. She uses money to run an orphanage for young children. And after tracking down a monster, we as Geralt return to the orphanage where she was waiting to find the truth. And it's much darker than I could have imagined. She's a vampire and uses the orphanage as a feeding ground, feeding on the young children that live there. I don't know about you guys, but this seemed fucking insane to me. And to make it even more disturbing, you cannot kill her. I had to reload the game and search it up just to make sure I didn't miss some kind of option. But it doesn't exist. She's untouchable. For now. And I feel like it's a reminder that some things exist outside of Geralt's control. I did find out about the now infamous A Night to Remember cinematic, which took a bit of anger out of my soul, but still, that was insane to me.
After all that toil, I believe we deserve a bit of a rest.
That we do.
Playing through Witcher 3, you take for granted how the world goes on for what seems like forever. The contracts, the quests, the DLCs. But then one day, it's all over. Blood and Wine doesn't give Geralt a triumphant finale. There isn't really a final battle that cements him as this glorious hero. Instead, when Blood and Wine ends, it seems like almost a quiet ending. I didn't have a rush of emotion or even an immediate sadness. It just felt like a deserved ending for Geralt. For the first time, Geralt receives a rare gift from Toussaint. The ability to exist without some kind of expectation for the future. Corvo Bianco, the quiet sunsets, and maybe real peace for the first time. The farewell is painful not because something bad happens, but because it feels real and over. I, for one, think this is the perfect ending for a masterpiece of a game. We don't need an insane ending of Geralt riding into battle or onto his next contract in the faraway distance. For me, anyways, it feels comforting that he does get a fairy tale ending on a vineyard. And in the end, what more could we ask for? I was genuinely nervous going into Blood and Wine because of how many great things I heard about this DLC. It felt like the expectations were so monumental that it couldn't meet those expectations. There was no possible way. But after an amazing base game, an amazing playthrough of Hearts of Stone, this really was the cherry on top, and I couldn't have really hoped for anything more. I do definitely want to play through it again to get the whole alternative ending, and I heard some kind of magical world that I'm very excited to check out. But my expectations and excitement for Witcher games or content in the future is very high, and I also already did a Hearts of Stone review, so I thought I'd finish with the Blood and Wine one. Whew.